And there is yet another dimension to the seemingly simple task of teaching children, and that is what happens to children when the world around them is crumbling. Bede Sheppard joins us live from New York. He is the Deputy Director in the Children's Rights Division of Human Rights Watch. Thanks for joining us. You know, we mentioned a moment ago that there were an estimated 3,600 documented attacks on education last year alone. And why is education a target, and what sort of impact do these attacks have on children?
Yes, in the past 4 years, we have seen deliberate and concerted attacks on students, teachers, and schools in at least 30 countries around the world. And I like to think that these are sort of the world's unrecognized Malala Yousafzais. The reason why they're coming under attack often varies, though, and depends on the context. There are times when schools, students, and teachers come under attack because of who is being taught, perhaps the ethnicity of the person being taught, or in places such as Pakistan or Afghanistan, the fact that girls are being taught. Well, in other places, it's what's being taught. For example, if one group opposes the type of curriculum, perhaps the history or whose history is being taught, or the language is being taught, or the secular nature of the attack of the education. We've seen that in places such as Nigeria. And in other places, it's simply that schools and teachers are seen as extensions of the government. And that means that they're often soft, easy targets that rebel groups might want to attack, and they can be sure that they'll get a lot of media attention if they're successful.
Bede, let's look at the situation in Syria, where we often hear this term, the lost generation. Can you explain what this means for the children there and what can be done to prevent it from happening?
Yeah, the average length of a conflict these days is more than a decade. And if you think about it, if students are being kept out of schooling for that kind of time, they're missing the experiences, the skills that they need to become productive members of society and get good, meaningful jobs. So when you think about it, those kinds of experiences or skills are exactly the kinds that countries after a conflict are going to need in order to rebuild, to reconcile, and to ensure that there's long-lasting peace.
All right, Bede Sheppard from Human Rights Watch, thank you so much for joining us from New York City.